Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacob, and this video is going to be a continuation in the series where I talk about studying JavaScript. This is day 24, and I got 4 hours of studying done today, and so I'm at about 143 hours. What did I study specifically? I spent most of my time just reading the source code for the library desktop GitHub repo, which I have been linking some of the stuff that I've been looking at the last couple of videos, and I'll probably do the same thing in this one. But otherwise, you can look at some of my other videos. It's on there somewhere. But yeah, so I would say, it's sort of clicking a little bit better, but it's not like magic or anything. It's just slowly over time, the more and more you try and focus on something, eventually you develop a deeper and deeper fluency, right? And I think something for me is, I realized this while I was reading some code today. I was like, a lot of looking at all these permutations and reading the syntax and these patterns over and over and over again, a lot of it is sort of about baking it into your mind really deeply, but then also it's about removing all ounces of doubt about what you think it is, right? What I mean by that is sometimes what you're really doing when you're learning something better and better each day is you're just solidifying something you already thought was true, but you didn't know for sure. But as you look at more and more examples and permutations, you become more and more confident that it is true. That your perspective or your idea, your thought about whatever it is an accurate and justified thing. I would call this statistical confidence. It's something completely unrelated to emotional confidence or social confidence. It's statistical confidence. It's also what people would call probably, expertise or intuition. It's where you do something so many times that because of how many times you've seen the circumstances or whatever the situation is, which in this case is a pattern in source code. You've seen it so many times that you have a deep confidence, statistical confidence about what it is. So I just saw a hiccup in the video. Hopefully there isn't any sort of issue. Oftentimes I upload this without watching through it the first time, and I watch through it later after it's uploaded. I apologize if there's an issue. So anyways, that's something I realized. So you can't really force this, right? It's pretty tautological. You can't have statistical confidence without having a large amount of statistical exposure, right? There are people that have a similar opinion or idea about something, and they might be able to parrot it, but they don't truly have the statistical confidence behind it. They're basically circumventing the statistical confidence with just offloading that I'm having trouble saying this, but basically they circumvent having to go through all of the experience and the exposure over and over again by just deferring their opinion to someone who they think is a authority in it, who does have the statistical confidence, or they're using inference, which is very risky because that basically, let me put it this way: no science is done by not measuring things a lot in trials. It's the statistical measurement that actually makes something a fact. It's not the inference about something, because inferences can be very, very wrong sometimes. That said, it's the best thing that humans can do when they can't acquire all of that statistical experience. And of course, you have to pick your battles, so you're going to have to use inference where you can't, stare at permutations all the time. So I understand why you have to do that, but there's huge pitfalls with it, and right. So that's ultimately one of the huge things about the process that I go through. At the beginning, it looks like, well, why are you doing all this stuff so much? But after you go deep enough with stuff, you just have this sort of instilled deep conviction about things because you've seen so many different permutations. You know what is possible, and you know what is probable, and you know why it's happening, and you have confidence about it. Whereas other people they lack all of that statistical exposure, and so they're basically just like guessing from nothing, right? They didn't go through all this different experience, so how would they know what to expect? How would they know how many times this pattern exists or doesn't exist, or different variants on the same pattern, right? Because a lot of the time you have a pattern, and then you have slight variations, and it's like sometimes a variation is significantly different. Other times it's not. How do you tell the difference? Well, you probably have to see a lot of permutations. Anyways, enough of talking about that. I think about this a lot because, this is sort of what I do. I couldn't get myself to read ECMAScript. Today was not a documentation day. I didn't read any CSS documentation. I didn't read any ECMAScript. I kind of glanced through it for a second, and then I was like, nah. And this is just sort of what happens. It's like nutrition, right? I don't know if you ever like eat food, and sometimes it's like, oh, I really need to eat some blueberries because it's got like nutrients I need, or I need to eat some kale or something. I do this sort of thing a lot where it's like I eat stuff for the nutritional minerals or whatever, and there's almost like a craving. And then after I have it enough, I'm like, nah, I don't need kale. I already ate kale like twice, this week or 3 times. And then I'm like, I don't need kale anymore. And that's what I'm trying to say is this is the same thing with documentation. You do the documentation, and then you need to let your mind just get away from it and sort of like, just sort of like think on it and stuff. So, sorry, I got a little bit distracted. But, yeah, anyways, so, it's pretty useful. So I'll probably, I guess the other thing is, I think what I'm going to be studying maybe tomorrow a little bit. There are some resources that I collected before, and one of them is the library protocol, or the LBRY protocol, which I think is just very fascinating. And so I'm probably going to read through this document that's on the internet, and I'll link to it when I start reading through it, and I might even do like a video going through some of it, but those can be really, really intensive and kind of sloppy, and I don't even know that people would really want to watch them. If I do a video, I'll try and do like, these are the most significant parts of it, try and compress it in some way, but that's kind of difficult. So, but anyways, I'm gonna be reading that, and then I'm probably also going to be looking through the BitTorrent stuff and the Bitcoin stuff. And the reason is, it's just like everything else. The best thing to do is to look at a bunch of different blockchain or distributed system protocols and systems all at once, and then you'll get a much better idea about how it works in general. While you can focus on one in particular, which for me will be probably the library one. So anyways, that's sort of the plan for tomorrow, and you guys got the scoop for today, and so I'm gonna call it here. If anybody watches this video and has some ideas about other things I could do, if you have like a specific topic you would want me to talk about, that'd be cool with me. Otherwise, I'm gonna kind of just keep going on my grind, maybe thinking about some other things, but mostly just focused on learning. And yeah, thanks for watching, and have a good evening.